Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Welcome and thank you for stopping by. Well, I trust you enjoyed Ed Sheeran last time as we looked at his song Castle on the Hill. And for today's video, we're going to a guy called Mark Philip Everett. He's a multi-instrumentalist and he is the brainchild behind the band The Eels. Now, you may not have heard of this band, The Eels, so what I'll do is I'll put a Wikipedia entry in the description below so you can find out a little bit more about them. They've actually been around since around 1995, so they're coming up for 25 years anniversary because 1995 was 25 years ago. Man, you start to feel a bit old when you start thinking about that. So, and over that time, they've released 12 albums. The particular song today, though, I wanted to focus on is I Need Some Sleep. And this song didn't come from one of their albums. It actually came from the Shrek 2 soundtrack. I don't know if you remember the movie of, the big green guy and Fiona and Donkey, and they were in the land of far, far away. Well, that was the movie, 2004 for DreamWorks, a massive movie for them. The song is I Need Some Sleep. Now, it's an interesting song, very well written song. There's not many lyrics in it, but it just captures this essence really, really well. This concept of not being able to sleep. Now, science tells us how important sleep actually is. It's the way that our brains put short-term learning into long-term memory so we can recall it later. It's a chance for our body to reflect and to rejuvenate and to refresh itself. So sleep is incredibly important. In fact, I've even heard it said that some people look at sleep as something that happens at the end of the day. So we've had a long day and we flop into bed and we go to sleep. I've heard of a different option to that, and that is to treat sleep as the start of the next day. It's an interesting mindset shift of not so much recuperating from the previous day, but refreshing yourself for the next day. It kind of gives a different dimension to sleep, which I kind of like. I'm not quite there yet with my mindset on that, but I think I kind of do like the concept of refreshment really good. But you know what it's like though. 2 o'clock in the morning goes by, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're looking at this clock and you're just wondering why your eyes haven't shut yet. And instead of you enjoying this beautiful sleep, your brain is going haywire. It's just thinking of lots of different things. And what do we do in those situations? I know for me, I get up and look at some YouTube clip or some Wikipedia thing. That's not very helpful because it actually gets my brain awake again. So what do you do when, these hours just slip by? Well, it's interesting. I think maybe we've got to think about, well, why is it that we can't sleep? Obviously, we don't think about that at night while we're trying to sleep because we won't just get to sleep. But perhaps the next day when we're reflecting on the night we've had before, I reckon sleep deprivation becomes because our brain is overactive. It's thinking of things and trying to process stuff because we're still. Now, I can hazard a guess that maybe what some of the things might be that we focus on. The first one could be we're just excited about something coming up, and we can't sleep because we're just too excited to do that. That's actually a good thing because it means that we're looking forward to something. So excitement is one thing. I know for me that if I've got to get up earlier in the morning, say I've got to take my wife to the airport, and that means getting up at say 4:30 in the morning, it's quite amazing how I just seem to be able to wake up and not even need to have an alarm set for that. I've lost count of the amount of times that has happened. So excitement could be one thing. Another thing could be loss. We felt a loss of some sort, whether it's a relationship or a job or a friendship or something like that, and we're not being able to sleep because we're missing that person. Well, it's an interesting one, that one, because if you had your life again, would you not want to meet that person? Well, if they're significant, no, you probably would want to meet them again if you had your life over. And so, even though there's sadness and there's loss, there's also the fact that you have loved somebody and they have loved you. And maybe in those times when you're missing that loss, think of an iconic memory, something that just really stands out when you think of that person, and go to that. And they may bring some light into what can be a dark time for you. That's another one. Another one could be someone who's hurt you. And you're just really not quite knowing how to process what's happened there. The other person may not even be aware that they've hurt you, and you're just dealing with this stuff. It could be a betrayal, it could be something significant that you think, oh, this is really bad, and I just can't sleep. The first thing to realise, I think, is that that thing that you're thinking about is significant. And because it's significant, your brain is having to work out how to process it. So that's the first thing to acknowledge, I think. Yes, I am feeling hurt. I'm feeling betrayed. And maybe the concept of having some kind of reconciling moment, that just doesn't seem to be an option for you. It's either too hard or it's just not practical. There could be any gamut of reasons. So what do you do in that situation? Well, there's this thing called forgiveness, and forgiveness is one of the hardest things in the world to do. And it could be that bitterness and that sadness you're feeling is being held by the fact that you're not forgiving. But what do you do when actually reconciling is not an option? Well, I think maybe you can make a choice inside you, a choice inside your heart, I suppose, to just forgive that person. Say, look, I'm not going to let that sadness hold me back any longer. And you forgive them in your heart. Not easy to do. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is a decision that you can make that may make your life easier going forward. Then you can almost start to perhaps wish good things for that person. Wish them well in your heart and just see where that takes you. So yeah, stewing about people and how they've hurt you can really be a thing that stops your sleep, and it's not helpful if that goes on for too long. If it is that you can't deal with it, you might need to go and talk to somebody about it, because it'll be with you as long as it's left unresolved. So there's three things I could think of. One, you're really, really excited about something. Two, you've lost someone. Or three, there's bitterness and unforgiveness there. There could be three reasons why you can't get to sleep. And my hope for all of us, and I suppose my hope for you, if you're watching this clip at 3 o'clock in the morning, that some of the words that I share with you may actually be benefit to you. So in those quiet times, you might be meditating or praying or whatever it is that you do. Just think about the reasons sleep is becoming a bit of a problem for you. Of course, there are medical reasons why sleep doesn't happen as well. So, of course, if you feel that that's a reason, you need to go and get that sorted out as well. But sleep is just so important to our well-being. And as I said earlier, maybe look at it as something to start the day off, a refreshing start as opposed to lumping into the bed at night kind of situation. So on the clip today, we've got Mark singing this song. It is live, this one. He's got a bit of a band with him. It's not a very long song, this one, but there's just something about the way he plays it, something about the way he sings it. His voice is just perfect for this song. And it just really, for me, captures the essence of what it means to be in this frustrating situation of not being able to sleep. And what's his answer? He says, you just got to let it go. You just got to let it go. In fact, he sings that quite a few times. And maybe that's the answer. You've just got to let it go. And whatever it may be for you, think about how that can happen. So I've left the link to that live clip below for you to have a look at. I've also included my commentary from last time on Ed Sheeran. Feel free to have a look at that as well if you didn't see it, or if you want to recap on that, feel free to look at that. And I suppose for me, I trust these words have been an encouragement for you. If you like these videos, feel free to give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to subscribe, that would be wonderful. And when you do subscribe, click on the bell next to it and click all, and you'll get an email every time when I upload a video, which is about twice a week. So that's it for today. I'm a little bit excited for my next artist, because it's one I've been wanting to do ever since I started writing and then doing video of this series over 5 years ago now. So I'm a little bit excited about what's coming up. So I trust that you will join me then. So until then, bye for now.